So hi everyone, here we are with our group which is the managers team. So here I'm going to introduce you all with my group member which is we start with our leader Aaron and the assistant leader is myself and my name is Lynn. Our group member is Anis, Atira, Sabrina, Bella, Hali and Aidil. For our final project, we are going to do an experiment for it. Wanna know more detail what experiment we are going to do? So let's start. My other team member will show it to all of you.
Gas explosion can cause major damage to structure, equipment, personnel from violent overpressure and shocking wave effect. What is the dust explosion? It is a phenomenon that explosion occur due to the presence of an ignition source with combustible dust cloud in the air. This is the dangerous phenomenon that not all knows. So, the following experiments are conducted to see the effect of dust from viewpoint of likelihood of explosion and explosion severity.
My name is Nurul Humera. So I'm going to tell you about materials and equipment that we use. So for the first item, I'm going to use porcelain dish, tripod stand, gauge, Bunsen burner, a funnel, tube and spatula. And then for the next item, we're going to use rice flour, glove, tissue and hand sanitizer. That's all.
Okay, so hi, my name is Anis Maisara. So I will be presenting the budget of our dust explosion experiment. I will share my screen so that you guys can see the cost of our budget. So here, as you can see, this is our list of budget. Firstly, we have basin. The basin is used to put the flour when we have dried it. Okay, so the cost here is six ringgit 90 cent. And then we have candlestick, one piece for 1 ringgit 90 cent. And basically only these two items are to be purchased. So far for the flour, tube, funnel, matches and spoon, all we just use the household item. As simple as that, our budget is not big. So this is such an easy experiment to conduct even though we are at home. Thank you.
Hi and Assalamualaikum everyone. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Aidi Haikal Shah. Now what I did like to present today is about how long duration to do the experiment and how long to set up the booth. Duration for the experiment it take around 5 minutes to prepare the method to be used for the experiment, and also for the booth it takes around 10 minutes to set up the booth and to decoration the booth. Okay. And for the experiment, it takes 5 minutes to find out and see the result, the outcome from the experiment.
There are also some precaution steps need to be taken during the experiment. Before we start the experiment, we must wear a proper protective equipment. This is because the experiment can be flammable and explosive. For example, we must wear a lab coat, glove, and also hand gloves. Besides that, we should keep the flue below the lower explosive limit, which means we use a small quantity of sample. This is to ensure that the experiment is under our control and also to prevent any combustion occurs that can cause any harm or accident to us and also the others. Lastly, we must be more careful when conducting the experiment as the sample and material used are explosive and flammable.
Before we start the dust explosion experiment, there will be a few things to prepare, which are wet flour, candle, lighter, a bowl, spoon, funnel, and rubber tube. First, pour an amount of flour into the pan and heat with medium flame for 2 minutes. During the heating process, keep stirring the flour. Then, put aside for cooling down process. Light up the candle with lighter. Then, fill the dry flour in the mouth of the funnel that connected with rubber tube. Place the funnel near with the candle 45-degree angle and blow the flour to the flame.
Hi there, my name is Pavitran Aaron and I'm going to be talking about the results and explanation of the experiment we have just watched. So, as for the result of the dust explosion, firstly what happened was the flour was heated on a pan before being placed into the funnel. A candle was lit up and the funnel's tube was aimed at the flame. A rapid blow of air was blown into to the tube and it blew out the fine flour powder into the candle flame. What happened next was that a cloud of flour is ignited and a gust of flame followed, where the fireball spreads. After the rapid combustion of the finely divided flour, it was only left with the smoke residue of unburned flour. So here's a look at the steps from earlier. The flour was heated on a pan. The second image shows that the flour was placed in the funnel, and the third image shows the flame explosion. So I'm going to be talking about the explanation of the experiment now. Dust explosion is the rapid combustion of fine particles suspended in the air within an enclosed location. Dust explosions can occur where any dispersed powder combustible material is present in a high enough concentration in the atmosphere or other oxidizing gaseous mediums such as pure oxygen. In cases when fuel plays the role of a combustible material, the explosion is known as a fuel air explosion. So there are five necessary conditions for our dust explosion. The first is a combustible dust, and in our case is a flour, rice flour to be specific. The second is that the dust is dispersed in the air at a sufficiently high concentration. Thirdly, there is an oxidant, typically atmospheric oxygen. Number four is an ignition source, which is basically our candle fire. And lastly, the area is to be confined, such as a building or it can be an enclosure. So how does it occur? Dust have a very large surface area compared to their mass. Since burning can only occur at the surface of a solid or liquid, where it can react with oxygen, this causes dust to be much more flammable than bulk materials. This greatly increased surface area allows the material to burn much faster, and the extremely small mass of each particle allows them to catch on fire with much less energy than bulk material, as there is no heat loss to conduction within the material. So to conclude, this was my explanation and also the results of our experiment. I hope you liked it. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Deva. So I'm going to talk about the conclusion for the experiment dust explosion. As we all know, dust explosion is an interesting experiment, but this experiment may pose severe destruction to human properties and also the environment. However, by understanding the fundamental cause and understanding on the severity explosion of the dust, the hazard and risk of dust explosion can be minimized prior to safety. As we can relate to the PEC subject management skills, my group has discussed and took a serious care about the SWOT analysis, which is SWOT, represents the strength, weakness, opportunities and threats. So we have discussed that our group's strength is that this experiment is actually low cost, and our strength is that each and every members in my group are from the science background. We have science background such as chemistry, biology and also physics. Next will be the weakness. The weakness is that
Even though we all are from the science background, but we are lack experience to conduct any experiment or any science events. Next will be the opportunity. Opportunity will be increasing food and nutritional security. Last but not least, the threats. The emission will threat the health of human, which is it can cause any infection to our human health. So that's all we can conclude from this experiment. Thank you.